Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to talk about my eyeshadow bank. So this has previously been part of my big fat eyeshadow project, but I'm now separating them because I have wrapped that project up. So I'm separating them and doing my own eyeshadow budget this year, eyeshadow bank, I guess. This project was created by Laura Force. I was very inspired by her to do this, and I'm doing it a very similar way to her. She has said that she's going to change her rules a little bit for 2025, which I'm very excited to see. I love watching her updates, and I want to see how she changes it up. Maybe I will regret some changes in mine. I'm not really going to change much, to be honest, but maybe I'll regret some of mine because I'll, see her update, be like, oh, damn it, I should have added that rule in or whatever. So we'll see, but I'm excited to see her update when she posts it. But today, in today's video, we're going to go through my wrap up for December, let you know where I'm starting off in January, and also just kind of recap the rules that I have and kind of how I'm going to move forward with this project. So before I jump into that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. Alright, so I'm going to start off by recapping the ways that I can earn points. I kind of do this anyway, normally when I go through my eyeshadow bank, but I'm going to do it a little bit more in detail this time. So for 2025, I have the same way of earning points as I did last year, and there's a couple different ways to do so. So first off, an eyeshadow in my collection, if I want to purchase something that is the same as 10 points, that's how I budgeted. And the way that I can earn points is first off from No Pen Left Behind. When I do No Pen Left Behind on the palette for the first time of the year, obviously if I continue using the palette more than once, that is not going to continue giving me points. It's only the first time I do No Pen Left Behind. That gives me 1 point. So I have to technically do like No Pen Left Behind on 10 palettes in order to buy one eyeshadow. So that's kind of how that works. The second way is from uses, and we have one threshold for 10 uses. So every time I hit the 10 use threshold on an eyeshadow, I get 1 point as well. So, it keeps going. So if I hit like 20 threshold, 30, 40, and so on, I still get 1 point per each 10 threshold. I know Laura has done it differently in 2024, where she has like 10 uses, then she goes up to 25, 50, and 100, I think. But for me, I just keep it simple, and I go like every 10 uses I get an extra point. However, if I do hit the 100 use threshold, I do allow myself a little bonus because I think that's quite rewarding. So if I hit the 100 uses threshold on eyeshadow, I get 5 points for that on top of the 10 uses. So that is kind of like the way I can earn points just from using shadows. The next way I can earn points is through hitting pan and finishing shadows. So hitting pan gives me 1 point as well. So same as No Pen Left Behind, same as 10 uses. So not very high, but 1 point per hitting pan. And then second off is finishing eyeshadow. Finishing an eyeshadow is a little bit harder than hitting pan. So I'm allowing myself a few more points for finishing a shadow, and I give myself again 5 for finishing a shadow. So those are the main ways. I did also let you guys know at the last update for this project that I would allow myself to count points if I declutter something. So I did do an eyeshadow declutter at the end of December for Vlogmas. So in there I decluttered a couple of palettes, and I decided to count them into my Beauty Buddy 2 or eyeshadow bank with points, mainly because I was in a deficit and I wanted to kind of go back to a positive number before January. That was my goal for the whole year. So I did allow myself to get points for that, and I did ask you guys what you wanted to see and what points you wanted to, what I should get for decluttering. And first I said, should I get 2 points per shadow or should I get 5? 5 would then be the same as finishing up a shadow. And everyone in the comments who mentioned it said that I should get 5 points per decluttered shadow. So that is also what I'm allowing myself. I'm not going to keep decluttering too much. Ideally I don't want to use that as an excuse to get new eyeshadows in, but also ultimately if I do that, I will half my amount of shadows because I would have to declutter 2 shades to get 1 shade in. So not too bad, to be honest. So that is another way now I am allowing myself to get points. That is the main gist of my rules. The other thing is, again, a shadow is 10 points. So if I purchase a palette and it has 10 shades, that would be 100 points. If it has 15 shades, that would be 150 points. If I purchase one single, that is 10 points, and so on. I'm also kind of adding a rule this year, which I didn't have last year. Some people said in my comment section that they don't think gifts should count, but I will still count gifts because my goal here is not spending the money. The money is fine, like, of course, like I can't spend, you know, a fortune on eyeshadow or anything like that. But for me, it's the reason I'm doing this mainly is because I want to get my numbers down and because I feel quite overwhelmed with the amount of eyeshadows that I have. So for me, I have decided to count gifts and like things about gift cards, stuff like that, PR if I ever get it, or like I got some palettes gifted from subscribers, stuff like that. Like last year I got 3 palettes into my collection and all 3 of those were gifts. And what I have allowed myself this year is I'm still going to count them, but they will count as half the points. So again, if a palette has 10 shades, instead of being 100 points, that will be 50 points. It will be 5 points per shadow instead of 10 points per shadow, if it is a gift, or again, if I purchase with a gift card. So that is my newest rule, I guess, and the main difference from this year to last year, because last year I didn't have that in. I think that's the main things. Like, I think that's all my rules. So again, not too many rules, but that is kind of sums up this video and this project. But I'm going to go through where I was in December and kind of where I'm standing today. Alright, so at the beginning of December or end of January, I was standing at a deficit of 81 points. So I was standing at negative 81 points. And I was really trying to get back to the positive before the end of the year. And let's start off with No Pen Left Behind. I hit that on 7 palettes in the month of December. I did it on Colourpop Going Coconuts, my Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction palette, my Cindy Grace Mountain Trail, then my Pat McGrath Divine Rose 1 palette, my Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, my Charlotte Tilbury Filter palette, and then my Rowan Eyes on Me quad. So those are the palettes that I hit No Pen Left Behind on in December. So 7 points there. I did also get quite a few points from 10 uses. I hit 15 points there. And the first one was from my Midnight Sun palette that I hit 10 uses on the shade Skin Show Moon Glow. I then hit 20 uses on my Burberry Rosewood single. I did hit quite a few usage goal in my Panda palette, which was the Soft Glam palette. I did hit 50 uses on Sienna. That was thanks to some Franklins being used up. 50 uses for Sienna for a total of 140 throughout the year. I hit 40 uses on Fairy, again thanks to Frankening. So 60 uses total in the year. Then I hit 10 uses threshold on Rustic and the 10 uses threshold on Dusty Rose. Both of them have 40 uses in total. So that's for my Soft Glam palette. Actually, I have one more Soft Glam. I have the shade Orange Soda, which also hit the 10 use threshold for a total of 80 throughout the year. So that is everything that I hit for 10 uses. But I did also hit 100 use threshold, which I already mentioned, and that was the shade Sienna from my Soft Glam palette. I did hit the 100 use threshold. Well, I went past it. I was the 140 uses, but I went from 90 to 140, so I went past that 100 threshold, so another 5 points for 100 uses. Unfortunately, I didn't hit any pans in the month of December, so 0 points there. But I did finish an eyeshadow. I finished the shade Fairy from my Soft Glam palette, so 5 points there. So that is everything that I earned when it comes to like my standard points. However, I did also do a declutter. So if you saw my eyeshadow declutter video, you know what I already decluttered. But I did declutter quite a few eyeshadows. So I did actually end up getting 335 points from declutters, which again is quite a lot. So let me talk you through them. So the first palette that I decluttered was the Anastasia Carly Bible palette, which had 14 shades in it, which means 70 points. Then we had the Colourpop Aha Honey palette, which I did actually keep quite a few shades, but I decluttered 3 in the end, which would have then been 15 points. Then we have the Colourpop Through My Eyes palette. Again, I kept a couple shades from there, but ultimately I decluttered 8, which would give me another 40 points. We have the Luna Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette, which has 15 shades in it, and I decluttered the whole palette, so that would have been, what, 75 points, right? Yeah, 75 points. Then we have the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette, also decluttered that for 12 eyeshadows, so that would have been 60 points. We have the Nabla Dream palette, also 12 eyeshadows and 60 points. We also decluttered a couple single shades. I decluttered the shade Pale Barley from Burberry, so that was 5 points. The Stila Sea Siren Glitter and Glow, so another 5 points there. And lastly, a single that was the product from Colourpop in the shade My Way, and that was another 5 points. So adding all of that together was 335 points for declutters. And that, in combination with everything else I added points for this month, I ended up earning 367 points in the month of December, which was very good because, again, I wanted to be in the positive, and I for sure am now. I am actually standing at the beginning of 2025 at a point of 286 points, which, again, feels so good because I haven't been in the positive for so long, and I haven't had the option to buy something in so long. The reason why I was in deficit was because I said if I got something as a gift, I can go into the negatives, but I cannot go into the negatives on my own. So I can't buy something to go into the negatives. I can only do that if I'm gifted something. So I'm going to keep that the same this year too. I don't want to allow myself to go into negatives. I will only spend points that I have. So I can't really buy anything on credit, if that makes sense. I need to have the cash in my bank. So right now, like I said, I'm standing at 286 points, which basically means that I can buy 28 eyeshadows. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for that because that means that I can purchase a couple of things. I've been thinking about what I want to purchase. I'm probably not going to buy anything in January. Maybe I will, but we'll see. If I do buy something, I won't count the points in until I get it into my collection. So for example, if I buy something for an indie brand, it might take a little bit longer to get to me, and then I will show it the month it arrives, for example. But if I get something like, from Cool Beauty or something like that, it will probably arrive quick, and I will show it the same month, most likely. But that is kind of where I'm standing now. I do also just want to say quickly that I'm very, very, very happy that I started this project. This is actually the first year since I started tracking my eyeshadows that my numbers have actually gone down compared to what I started off with. So I don't have the exact numbers in front of me right now. I have them on my laptop, which is over there. But this is the first year where I have less eyeshadows in 2025, so in 2025 than I did in 2024. I will go through the numbers in my inventory video, but I think I have about 20 less eyeshadows, which again is amazing. And of course, if I do buy the ones that I can allow myself, I won't be in the negative anymore, but that is still fine. I'm very, very happy. I think of course it's largely thanks to the clutter I did. But overall, I'm so grateful that I did this project, and it's also really taught me a lot about my usage and using my shadows and stuff like that. I'm also tracking my eyeshadow usage now, which I never used to do, and it's really helping me see how I use eyeshadows. So I'm very excited to continue this one for another year, and I hope you guys are too. Again, of course, this will now be a separate video, so it will be under my Eyeshadow Bank updates, so you can look forward to that. But before that, you can look forward to another video going up tomorrow because I am posting every day in January. So I will catch you then. Bye, guys.